Though his music impacted millions, Neil Diamond's heart harbored secrets. His first wife, Jane Posner, knew him before stardom. They had two daughters. Their marriage ended in 1969. Self-blame for everything. However, he recently revealed something shocking. Not simply being a lousy husband. His wrath was great. That secret rage ruined their relationship. After decades, he's finally confessing about those awful years. Born in Coney Island, Brooklyn, Neil Diamond was born January 24, 1941. Parents Rose and Kiev Diamond were immigrants. His mother was Russian and his father Polish. Neil was raised in a Jewish community by his dry goods company owner father. Life in Brooklyn was hard, but it was full of excitement, music, and diverse people. Struggle and culture formed Neil and defined him for life, like Brooklyn roads and America, from his childhood as the son of immigrants attempting to succeed in New York. However, the family had to migrate when Brooklyn became home. World War II sent Kiev to Cheyenne, Wyoming, with the Army. Neil was young. The West's peaceful skies contrasted with Brooklyn's bustling streets. Cowboy movies, especially musical ones, became his passion in Wyoming. Sitting during matinees, he watched singing cowboys on the big screen with wide eyes. After the war, they moved to Brighton Beach, New York. Moving from broad expanses to a crowded city was difficult. The tension between freedom and pressure shaped Neil's emotions. Both are evident in his later tracks. Neil joined Erasmus Hall High School's freshman chorus and choral club. He shared the risers with Barbra Streisand. Two poor kids striving to survive. They weren't close. They used to smoke cigarettes in front of school, he recalled. Bobby Fischer, the chess prodigy, was another student. Neil left Erasmus soon. He joined the fencing squad at Abraham Lincoln High School after his family moved again. Later, his best friend Herb Cohen fenced in the Olympics. Years later, Neil and Barbra sang "You Don't Bring Me Flowers," a huge hit, showing how far those poor Brooklyn youngsters had come. Neil got a guitar for his 16th birthday. It cost $9. That simple gift altered everything. He began lessons and songwriting immediately. He wrote his first song, "Hear Them Bells," at 15 before receiving the instrument. He wouldn't record it till later, but it started something significant. More than 130 million records and 38 top 10 songs came from that $9 instrument. He went to New York University on a fencing scholarship to become a doctor, but music kept calling him back. A $9 guitar gift led to his Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. Neil summered at Surprise Lake Camp in upstate New York in 1957. He met folk singer Pete Seeger there. McCarthy-era Seeger taught music at camps despite being blacklisted. Neil experienced a turning moment. Something snapped when he heard campers play Seeger-written songs. Later, he said Pete Seeger initiated it. "He was my first idol." After returning home, he picked up the guitar and started writing seriously. He used it to cope with frustration, growing up, and life. He joined New York University's pre-med program that year. He led his high school fencing team to a city title and scholarship. At New York University, he trained under top coach Hugo Costello. Neil became the Sabres' third player and helped win 2 national and 3 intercollegiate crowns. In one stretch, he fenced 2 matches untouchable. Not once. Even then, his instrument was always close. He took it on team trips and played it in hotels, always seeking music. Neil never explained why he chose medicine. It may have been his family's expectations. It was immigrant dream. Study hard, find a steady job, and become a doctor. He pursued his dream. He worked hard and studied anatomy, learned formulae, but penned songs at night. He wrote lyrics and chords in notebooks during idle times. He subsequently remarked, "If this songwriting thing hadn't come up, I'd be a doctor." Actually, the music never left him alone. He eventually couldn't ignore it. He skipped classes to ride the subway beyond NYU's stop to Tin Pan Alley, the music publishing hub. "Just a few more stops," he said. "I couldn't resist." In class, he wrote songs and tried to sell them that day. By his junior year, he rarely attended class. The melodies ruled. His life-changing offer came in 1962. $50 a week from Sunbeam Music Publishing for 16 weeks. Though small, it caused him to drop out. Only 10 credits separated him from a degree. Still, he left. Although biographers believe he attended NYU until 1965, he selected his course: music or nothing. Life at Sunbeam wasn't glamorous. He was instructed to write songs for B-grade performers. No raw feeling was allowed. Neil Diamond slumped in 1962. Columbia Records dropped him after 2 failed singles. He disliked his $50 a week job at Sunbeam Music, so he quit. He gambled and rented a modest storage room above Broadway's Birdland Jazz Club. It wasn't supposed to be home. Not even a studio was planned. He made it that way. A $30 upright piano barely fit in the tiny room. He installed a payphone. The end. That was his universe. In that small space, something changed. He finally had privacy. Bosses, deadlines, and pressure are gone, leaving silence and the jazz club below. He stated, "I wasn't under pressure," and interesting music started. He penned Solitary Man and Cherry Cherry there. He lived alone, practically alone. That solitude was his breakthrough. His hunger was real. Diamond sold approximately 1 song per week from 1963 to 1966. He spent 35 cents for meals daily. He got a sandwich for 23, a Coke for 10, and some sweets for 2. He couldn't afford more. He was 10 credits shy of graduating from New York University on a fencing scholarship. However, he was broke, living above a jazz club and writing songs publishers didn't want. However, his songs became more honest as he had less money. His goal wasn't to impress. He almost survived. His despair became art, yet no one wanted his writing for 7 years. Diamond worked in various publishing jobs from 1962 to 1969. His songs were excessively dramatic and sad. They felt his music was unmemorable. They wanted fast hooks. Instead, Diamond told stories. He was bogged. He suffered the most when Bang Records rejected Shiloh. They wanted Kentucky woman-style pep. His heart broke. I stated he said it took him 4 months to write AM. He was struck terribly by those years. He kept writing songs only to be told again. Lacks commercial appeal. The issue went deeper. Diamond was not designed for hits. Unlike others, he focused on lyrics rather than radio hooks. Emotion, meaning. Not even a hook was clear to him. He couldn't produce anything his Sunbeam Music label wanted. He worked on 5 or 6 tracks a year at Lieber and Stoller. Not one hit. While he wrote pop hits, others did too. He was systemically off. His honesty, which initially rendered him unmarketable, was about to change everything. Everything changed in 1966. Neil Diamond approached Jeff Barry and Ellie Greenwich, a renowned songwriting and production combo. He requested production instead of writing after being sacked from another job. It was risky, but they agreed. In 1964, Barry and Greenwich wrote 17 Billboard hits. They helped Diamond sign with Bang Records, led by Burt Burns, which was explosive. Cherry came after Solitary Man. Both hit. Even Ellie Greenwich sung backup. Talleyrand Music was their publishing company. Then something crazy happened. The Monkees covered Diamond's I'm a Believer. The song topped American charts, stayed 7 weeks straight. After years of rejection, Neil Diamond became famous. The Feel of Neil Diamond, his debut album, was released by Bang Records on August 12, 1966. It was his first huge success record, and defined his sound. His 17-year-old cousin shot the image under the Brooklyn Bridge. Reached 55. Cherry. Cherry rose to 6th. These tunes were honest and catchy. You could tell they were struggling. He wrote some on the bus. Long evenings with his piano above Birdland brought others. No studios made these. They were born silent, hungry, and tough. Early TV appearances in 1966 and 1967 clinched the deal. He instantly captivated teens on American Bandstand. Diamond was astonished by Dick Clark's old footage. He chuckled at his long hair and watched the throng roar. In one interview, Clark queried Diamond about his hair, and Diamond modestly said, "I don't look good in long hair." However, many appreciated him raw, emotional, and intense. Bang Records was dark behind the scenes. Diamond later suggested organized crime started the label. Some individuals with broken noses helped play the records, he claimed. Bang's logo had a .38 pistol. According to him, New Jersey was making bootlegs of his records. Burt Burns allegedly ordered enforcers to break legs to stop it. Diamond cited Genevieve's crime family member Tommy Aboul. The Broadway musical A Beautiful Noise used Tommy O'Rourke to reference the true man behind the threats. Diamond's desire for personal songs made things worse. Bang desired repeat Cherry Cherry hits. Diamond wanted to expand. Battle Over Shiloh was the final straw. Bang refused to release it. He then admitted he couldn't redo Cherry Cherry. "I needed to write more." He didn't mean to be tough. He was being sincere. This honesty contradicted Bang's business model. Deep wasn't wanted. Wanted radio play. That made staying impossible. After Diamond left Bang Records in 1967, the backlash was scary. Friends warned him the FBI had heard chatter. Someone may pursue him in the mafia. He started with a loaded .38. For safety, he sent his wife and daughter abroad. An attack on his manager. A stink bomb closed the manager's nightclub for 3 months. Even Barry and Greenwich were threatened. But Diamond persisted. Walked away. He joined Uni Records in 1968. That move provided him his long-awaited independence. Neil Diamond was famous in the 1960s, but 1968 changed that. Brooklyn Roads was his tune that year. It was no ordinary tune. A turning point. Diamond had largely penned chart-friendly pop tunes before then. However, Brooklyn Roads was personal. "The most literal and personal story I had written," he said. It covered his youth, dreams, and origins. Not just a song, a confession. It was the moment Diamond stopped chasing radio songs and started speaking his stories. This new direction wasn't sudden. After joining MCA Records, he wanted to go deeper and be more honest. The grass won't pay no mind, and then the singer sings. His song showed he was becoming an artist, not merely a pop act. Diamond accomplished another milestone in 1970. On October 10th, Cracklin' Rosie got his first Billboard Hot 100 #1. It replaced Diana Ross, but the Jackson 5 took over a week later. The song began unusually. Diamond learned about a male-dominated culture in Canada while traveling. Single males would buy Cracklin' Rosé, a cheap wine, and call it their weekend girl. That concept stuck with him, and he wrote a happy, bittersweet song that went global. He recorded it with top session musicians, including Wrecking Crew members. Although the lyrics confused some listeners, Diamond didn't care. The song was a hit and helped generate momentum after Sweet Caroline and Holly Holy. He was composing deeper songs and topping the charts by this period. Diamond was famous by 1972. He took a risk instead of doing another trip. He reserved 20 Winter Garden Theater nights on Broadway. Judy Garland and other old-time icons performed there, not pop stars. Since Al Jolson's 1930s Broadway solo concert run, no one had done it. Diamond took a chance, but it worked. All shows sold out. Even the New York Times was impressed, saying Diamond had the talent and charisma to make it work, despite its wildness. He had impressed spectators at the Greek Theatre earlier that year, but this was different. It felt closer, more dramatic. Diamond rested after the run. He quit performing to spend time with his family, especially his son Jesse. The stage remained unoccupied for 4 years. He continued making history. Diamond recorded a Greek Theatre Live CD on August 24, 1972. A sweltering August night ensued, a double album that defined his career. He wasn't shy. The crowd was surrounded by music from his cutting-edge quadraphonic sound system. The result was electric, loved by critics, not enough for fans. The album peaked at number 5 in the US, but Australia was unexpected. It topped the charts for 29 weeks, stayed in the top 20 for 2 years. That success was unprecedented. Years later, Diamond released album sequels: Hot August Night 2, 1987, Hot August Night /NYC 2009, and Hot August Night 3, 2018. But the original? It became legendary. The Los Angeles Times' Robert Hilburn considered it even better than the Greek theater plays from the summer before. While this was happening, Diamond tried something fresh. The popular story Jonathan Livingston's Seagull was adapted into a film, and he scored it. What should have been a creative high point rapidly went wrong. Diamond wasn't consulted when Hall Bartlett changed his music. Diamond sued in anger. Even the book's author, Richard Bach, sued. Film was a mess. It earned $1.6 million, just covering its $1.5 million expenditure. The film failed, despite using actual seagulls with dubbed voices. Diamond's soundtrack. Another tale. It sold over 10 million copies and won him a Grammy and Golden Globe for Best Original Score. Diamond performed a 6-song suite from the soundtrack at his 1976 Greek engagement because the music outshone the film. He released a studio version in a box set years later. Diamond thought the picture failed, but the music did not. Diamond made a power move amid the tumult. After leaving Uni Records in March 1973, he signed a $5 million Columbia Records contract, the largest in music history. It awarded him $1 million per album for 5. Today, that's $7.1 million per record. Columbia wagered big, and Diamond delivered. He had 8 gold records. With this new arrangement, he had unlimited creative power. He could write more and experiment with his sound with that freedom. The pact revolutionized his career and the industry. It showed that successful artists could command big salaries and complete independence. Diamond raised the bar. Even when his music was successful, Hollywood kept testing him. Jonathan Livingston's Seagull was ridiculed, but the soundtrack proved influential. It was in the charts for nearly a year and received global acclaim.